You wake up and the world is already whispering its demands into your ear. It asks for your time, your focus, your energy, and your compromise. It tells you that you are tired, that you deserve a rest, that tomorrow is a valid place to store your ambitions. But deep down, beneath the noise of modern convenience and the numbing comfort of the status quo, there is a fire that refuses to be extinguished. You know that you were meant for more than the cycle of waking, consuming, and sleeping. You know that your potential is a vast, unmapped territory, and yet you find yourself paralyzed by the very comfort you've spent your life chasing. You think discipline is a prison, a set of iron bars that restricts your freedom. You have been sold a lie. You have been told that to be free is to do whatever you feel like doing in the moment. But look at the evidence. The person who follows every fleeting whim, every impulse of laziness, every temptation of the ego, is not free. They are a slave to their own biology, a captive to their own lack of mastery. True freedom is not the absence of structure, it is the presence of the power to command yourself. Discipline is not about punishment. It is the highest form of self-love because it is the active declaration that your future self is worth more than your present comfort. When you choose to wake up early, not because you feel like it, but because you promised yourself you would, you are making a deposit into the bank of your own character. When you choose to persist through the grueling, repetitive work that precedes any great achievement, you are honoring the vision that exists only in your mind. Think of Henry Ford. He didn't stumble upon the assembly line through a series of lucky moods. He was driven by a burning desire that forced him to organize his thoughts, his resources, and his time with a surgical precision that bordered on the obsessive. He understood that the mind is a garden, and if you do not plant the seeds of discipline, the weeds of mediocrity will surely grow in their place. He loved his vision enough to discipline his every waking hour to bring it into reality. That is not hardship. That is the ultimate act of devotion. You must understand that the universe does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your nature. You cannot attract success while acting out the patterns of failure. If your mind is a chaotic mess of unfocused energy, your life will be a chaotic mess of inconsistent results. Napoleon Hill famously taught that the starting point of all achievement is desire, but desire is merely a spark. Discipline is the oxygen that keeps the flame alive. Without it, the spark flickers out, lost in the damp forest of distraction. Look at the icons of history. Abraham Lincoln, walking miles to borrow a book by candlelight, not because he was forced, but because he possessed an internal command center that overruled his exhaustion. He knew that the only way to transform his circumstances was to transform himself, and he used discipline as the hammer and chisel to carve away everything that did not serve his ultimate purpose. He loved his country, yes, but more importantly, he loved the potential of the human spirit. He saw the divinity within himself and nurtured it with the iron discipline of a man who knew his time was finite. The modern world is designed to make you weak. It is optimized for the path of least resistance. From the algorithms that track your attention to the instant gratification of a digital screen, everything is built to dilute your willpower. If you go with the flow, you will end up exactly where everyone else is, stagnant, complaining, and wondering why life feels so heavy. The choice to be disciplined is the choice to swim upstream. It is the choice to look at the shortcut and walk the long way, because you know that the long way builds the strength required to sustain the height you intend to reach. Do not mistake activity for achievement. You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing. Discipline is about the ruthless prioritization of the tasks that actually move the needle. It is the ability to say no to the good so that you can say yes to the great. Every time you allow yourself to be distracted, you are essentially telling yourself that your dreams are negotiable. They are not. Reflect on the lives of those who have truly changed the world. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times. He simply found 10,000 ways that did not work, and he possessed the discipline to keep his focus on the light bulb, even when the world told him he was mad. He was fueled by a burning desire that was so consuming it became his entire reality. That level of focus is not an accident. It is a cultivated skill. It is the result of years of practicing the art of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. You are the architect of your own destiny, but you cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of shifting sand. Your habits are the foundation. If your habits are undisciplined, your life will collapse the moment you encounter the inevitable pressure of the real world. But if you build your day on the bedrock of self-mastery, no storm can move you. You become a monument to your own intentionality. The tragedy of most lives is not that they aim too high and miss. It is that they aim too low and hit. They settle for the safety of the known. They avoid the discipline of growth because growth is uncomfortable. It requires you to confront your inadequacies. It requires you to acknowledge that you are not yet the person you need to be to reach your goals. But here is the secret. That confrontation is the beginning of your victory. When you decide to impose discipline upon yourself, you are essentially saying to the universe, I am ready. You are proving to yourself that you are no longer a victim of your impulses. You are becoming a master of your domain. You are taking control of the machine that is your mind and aligning it with the blueprint of your highest purpose. This is the ultimate form of self-love, because it is the only way to truly unlock the reservoir of power that is already inside you. Stop waiting for the right time or the right mood. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is the decision to execute your plan regardless of your emotional state. Your feelings are fickle. They change with the weather, with the news, with the chemical fluctuations in your body. If you rely on them to dictate your work, you will be inconsistent. If you rely on them to define your success, you will be disappointed. But if you rely on the cold, hard steel of your commitment, you will be unstoppable. Think of the marathon runner. In the final miles, every fiber of their being is screaming for them to stop. Their body is in pain, their lungs are burning, and their mind is conjuring every reason to quit. But they keep going. Why? Because they have already made the decision. The victory happens in the training, in the thousands of miles of discipline that no one ever saw. The race is just a celebration of the work that was done in the dark. Your life is a reflection of the standards you set for yourself. If you accept mediocrity, you will receive it. If you allow yourself to be consistently inconsistent, you will lead a life of fragmented results. But if you set a standard of excellence and back it up with the discipline to maintain it every single day, you will command the respect of the world. and more importantly, the respect of your own conscience. This is not about arrogance, it is about alignment. It is about understanding that you are a vessel for a specific purpose, and to fulfill that purpose, you must be a sharp, effective instrument. An instrument that is dull, rusted, and neglected cannot perform its function. Discipline is the process of sharpening the blade. It is the act of refining your focus, your energy, and your resolve until you are capable of cutting through the obstacles that stop other people in their tracks. Consider the compounding effect of small, disciplined actions. A single degree of change seems insignificant in the moment, but over the course of a year, over the course of a decade, that single degree leads to a massive divergence in trajectory. The person who practices discipline is not doing something extraordinary in a single day. They are doing something ordinary with an extraordinary level of consistency. They are showing up when it is hard. They are working when they are tired. They are studying when they would rather be entertained. And because of this, they are building a life that is fundamentally different from those who opt for the path of ease. They are building a life of significance. They are building a legacy. When you look back at your life, you will not regret the moments of discomfort you endured to become your best self. You will only regret the moments you gave in to the weakness of the moment and let your potential slip away.